Imagine that possibility for a moment. Just the thought of starting fresh, making a shift, a change. So fundamental, it feels like pressing the reset button on your very existence. Now, I want you to understand this very clearly. Starting a new life isn't about suddenly running away from the one you're living now. It's not about throwing everything out and saying, I'm done with all of it. No. It's about taking deliberate, thoughtful action to reimagine, to rebuild, and to renew. Here's the first thing to remember. All things are created twice. Think about that. Everything you see, everything around you was first an idea. Someone dreamed it up, imagined it, planned it before they ever brought it to life. A skyscraper, a city, a business, a career, all were created twice. First in the mind, then in reality, and your life is no different. If you're ready to start a new life, then you're going to have to imagine it first, to envision every little piece. What does it look like? How does it feel? What does it mean? You're going to have to start by getting clear about that vision. People come up to me and say, how do I start turning things around? They've had enough of the old habits, the old routines, the old story they keep living out year after year. Now they want something new. And you know what I tell them? It begins with a decision. Nothing changes until you decide it should. You have to make a decision, so powerful, so committed, that it's as if you're drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is it. From this day forward, I'm creating a new story, a new path. Starting a new life means you've got to shake things up, change something fundamental. Start with your environment, your associations, your daily habits. It is going to take courage. Why? Because most people get comfortable in their routines, even if they're miserable. Isn't that ironic? They settle into a rut, just getting by day after day, doing the same old things. But comfort, my friends, is the enemy of progress. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're slowly decaying. Ask yourself, what kind of life do I want to create? Don't just answer with generalities. Don't just say, I want to be happy, or I want to be successful. Get specific. Picture the details in your mind. If it's a new career you're after, what does it look like? What industry, what kind of people are you working with? If it's a better relationship, what qualities do you want to foster, and what kind of person do you want to be within that relationship? Now, here's a critical element to start a new life. You've got to be willing to leave the old one behind. Sounds simple, but it's not easy. Why? Because you've got attachments, and those attachments have shaped you. They've created your habits, your reactions, your beliefs. Some people think they want change, but they're still clinging to the old because it's familiar. Familiarity has power. You've got to get honest with yourself about what you're still holding on to that doesn't serve you anymore. Think about the people in your life. There are two kinds of people. Those who will encourage you to rise to your potential, and those who will keep you anchored in your old story. You have to know who you're surrounding yourself with. If you're constantly around people who doubt, who worry, who are forever complaining, chances are you'll find yourself doing the same. But if you align yourself with those who have vision, who are excited about possibilities, who are actively growing, then, my friends, that energy is contagious. It lifts you up, it inspires you, and it holds you to a higher standard. And changing your surroundings, though, is just part of the process. Starting a new life is also about changing the way you see yourself. You've got to have a vision of the person you're becoming. And I'm telling you, the way you see yourself dictates how you act. If you see yourself as someone who's struggling, who's just trying to get by, then that's exactly how you're going to live. But if you can look in the mirror and see someone who's on the rise, who's capable, confident, who has purpose, then every action you take will reflect that vision. You've got to start speaking the language of your new life. Words are powerful. They're seeds. If you speak words of possibility, you plant seeds of possibility. But if you speak the language of limitation, of self-doubt, of fear, that's what grows. Be careful of what you say, especially to yourself. Self-talk is a big part of transformation. Some people talk to themselves in ways they wouldn't dream of talking to someone else. They say things like, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. Those words create shackles. The words you speak create the life you live. Starting a new life means new habits, because habits create momentum. Think of a habit as a daily vote for the person you want to become. One small habit done consistently over time can transform your life. Most people think that success is about big things, big goals, big dreams, big changes. But in reality, it's the small daily disciplines that make all the difference. The man or woman you'll be a year from now is determined by what you're doing each day. If you want to get in better shape, you don't need to go from never exercising to running a marathon. Start with a daily walk or a commitment to eat one healthy meal each day. But do it every day. If you do something small each day, it compounds. What's wonderful about that is momentum begins to build. Soon enough, you'll notice a shift, not just in your body, but in your confidence, your energy, your outlook. That's the magic of habit. Now, here's something else to keep in mind. Starting a new life requires that you forgive yourself for the mistakes of the past. You've got to let go of regret. I've met so many people who are haunted by what they didn't do or the mistakes they made, but I'm telling you, regret can be poison if you're not careful. If you're holding on to regret, it will weigh you down, keep you from moving forward. Now, I'm not saying ignore the past. There's value in learning from it, but once you've learned the lesson, let it go. Think of it this way. Imagine you're holding a heavy stone in each hand. One is labeled past failures and the other is labeled missed opportunities. Now try climbing up a mountain holding those stones. Impossible, right? To climb higher, you have to lighten your load. To start a new life, you have to release those stones. And here's something that most people don't think about, but that plays a major role in starting over our beliefs. The beliefs you hold about yourself, about the world, shape your life. They're like a lens filtering every experience. Starting a new life often means you need a new set of beliefs. You may need to challenge and discard beliefs that have kept you stuck. You know, it's often not reality that holds us back, but our perception of reality. It's the beliefs that keep us in place, that lock us into a life that's less than what we want. To start a new life, you may need to break free from the chains of those beliefs. Create new ones. Say to yourself, I am worthy of a better life. I have what it takes to change. If you say it enough, if you feel it, it begins to take root. And suddenly you're moving in a new direction. And I'm telling you, on the path to a new life, you're going to encounter challenges. That's just how it is. Change is uncomfortable, and that discomfort is a test of your resolve. Some people want change, but only if it's easy. They say, I want a new life, but they're not willing to put up with the trials that come with it. But those trials, those tests, they're what build character. They're what prove to you that you're serious. So here's my question for you. Are you willing to embrace discomfort? For the sake of transformation, are you willing to be a little uncomfortable, a little uncertain, a little bit challenged? Because that's what starting a new life requires. It's going to demand more of you than the old life ever did. It's going to ask for more resilience, more patience, more courage. And I'm telling you, if you're willing to answer that call, if you're willing to rise to it, the rewards are worth every ounce of effort. Think about this for a moment. If you could design the life you want, what would it look like? What if you could wake up every day feeling excited, feeling purposeful, knowing you're doing something meaningful? Imagine a life where you're surrounded by people who uplift you, where you have energy, where you're constantly learning, growing, and becoming more. Imagine how that life would feel now. Ask yourself, what am I willing to do today to move closer to that vision? Because that's how you start a new life. One step, one choice, one decision at a time. It's not about perfection. Don't wait for everything to be lined up perfectly. Don't wait for some magical moment where everything just clicks. There is no perfect moment. There's just now, and now is the moment to begin to make a decision and to take the first step. No matter how small, when you wait for perfection, You give yourself an excuse to do nothing. You say, I'll start when the timing is right, or I'll wait until I'm ready. But if you're always waiting, then you'll never actually begin. And I'll tell you, once you do begin, the path becomes clearer. The next step reveals itself, and then the next. And before you know it, you're on your way. Starting a new life also means learning to embrace failure in a different way. Most people see failure as a stop sign, as something to avoid at all costs. But if you're going to change your life, you need to see failure as a teacher. Every failure contains a lesson, and every lesson is a step forward. When I was younger, I used to see every mistake I made as a blow to my confidence. But one day I realized that every failure was actually a stepping stone, showing me what didn't work and pointing me in a better direction. Think about it this way. If you've been living one way for years and you want to start a new life, you're going to make mistakes. It's a natural part of the process. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall, they stumble, they even cry, but they don't give up. And as adults, we can learn something from that persistence. So when you stumble, when you make mistakes, don't get discouraged. Remember, failure isn't final. It's just part of the journey. And one thing you must have if you want to start a new life is discipline. People often overlook discipline because it sounds tough. It sounds like a restriction, like you're holding yourself back from something. But I'm telling you, discipline is not a punishment. It's the bridge between your goals and your accomplishments. Discipline is what allows you to keep going. When motivation fades, you might feel excited and motivated in the beginning, but that excitement will come and go. Discipline, on the other hand, sticks around. It keeps you moving even when things get hard. And here's the good news. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You start small with one little habit, and you build from there. The key is consistency. You don't have to do everything at once. You just need to keep moving. Keep showing up. Keep doing those little things each day that move you toward the new life you're creating. When you're trying to start a new life, you're going to have to leave your comfort zone. I get it. Comfort zones are wonderful, warm places, but nothing grows there. Growth only happens in that space, just outside your comfort zone. That's where the magic happens. But here's the tricky part. When you start stretching yourself, when you step out of that comfort zone, your mind is going to play tricks on you. It's going to whisper things like, what if you fail? Who do you think you are? But remember, those are just thoughts. They don't have power unless you give them power. Here's a tool that I find useful. Whenever you feel that doubt creeping in, ask yourself, what if I succeed? Most people spend their lives asking, what if it doesn't work out? But what if it does work out? What if you do succeed? What if you really can create a new life? What if all the changes you're making lead you to exactly where you want to be? Give yourself permission to entertain that possibility. Imagine the best case scenario instead of the worst. And here's something else you're going to need. If you want to start a new life, you need goals. You cannot start a new life without a clear destination. Think of goals as the milestones on your journey. They give you direction, purpose, something to aim for. But here's the thing about the goals. It's not enough just to set them. You've got to make them part of your daily life. Most people set goals once, maybe at the beginning of the year, and then they forget about them. But if you're serious about starting a new life, you need to keep those goals front and center. Write your goals down. Look at them every day. Break them down into smaller steps so they don't feel overwhelming, and keep moving toward them, even if it's just one step at a time. A small step forward is still progress, and when you achieve those smaller goals, celebrate, acknowledge your progress, even if it's just a tiny step. Success builds on success, and each small win gives you the momentum to keep going. Starting a new life is also about taking responsibility for where you are and where you're going. Now, that's a tough pill for some people to swallow, but it's the truth. If you keep blaming others or the world, if circumstances, you give away your power, you say, I can't change because of them. But when you take responsibility, you take back control. You say, I am where I am because of the choices I've made, and if I want to be somewhere else, I need to start making different choices. Responsibility is empowering because it puts the power back in your hands. If you want to start a new life, you're going to have to start making new choices. Every day, every moment, you're presented with choices. Some of them are small and some are big, but they all add up, and each choice you make is either taking you closer to the life you want or pulling you further away. So get in the habit of asking yourself, is this choice in line with the new life I want to create? It's a simple question, but it can be a powerful guide. There's one more crucial part of starting a new life. You got to be patient. Starting a new life is not an overnight project. It's a journey. There will be days when you feel like you're not making any progress, when you wonder if it's worth it. But I'm telling you, every small action you take, every disciplined step forward is moving you closer to your goal. Change takes time, and real transformation is a gradual process. But if you stay consistent, if you keep going, eventually you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Be patient with yourself. It is okay if things don't happen as quickly as you'd like. It's okay if you stumble or get discouraged along the way. What matters is that you keep going. Growth is like planting a seed. You don't see the fruits of your labor right away, but with time and nurturing, it blossoms. So don't rush the process. Trust that if you stay committed, if you keep taking those small steps, you'll get there. I want you to remember something important. Starting a new life isn't about escaping your past. It's about learning from it and moving forward. Sometimes people feel like they need to run away from everything they've ever done to erase their mistakes and start completely fresh. But you know what? Your past has value. Your experiences, even the difficult ones, even the painful ones, have taught you things. They've made you who you are instead of running from your past. Embrace it. Take the lessons with you, but don't let the past dictate your future. And above all, remember that it's never too late to start again. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 40, or 70. If you have the desire to change, you can. I've seen people transform their lives at every age, in every situation, from every background. Age is no barrier. Circumstances are no barrier. The only barrier is the belief that you can't. So don't let that belief stop you. It's never too late to rewrite your story. Think of life as a series of seasons. Some seasons are for planting, some are for growing, some are for harvesting, and sometimes you need a season of rest, a season to reflect, to reimagine, to prepare for what's next. If you're at a point where you're ready for something new, then maybe this is your season of renewal, a time to start fresh, to plant the seeds of a new beginning. Starting a new life means giving yourself permission to be a beginner again. Some people are afraid to start over because they're worried about being inexperienced, about not knowing everything right away. But every master was once a beginner. Don't let the fear of not knowing stop you from beginning. Embrace the learning process. Embrace the fact that you're starting something new, that you're creating something fresh. Let that excitement drive you, and remember that you don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself of people who support you, who believe in you, who encourage you on your journey. Seek out mentors, people who have walked the path before you. A good mentor can make all the difference, guiding you, showing you what's possible, helping you avoid some of the pitfalls along the way. Life is precious. It's a gift, and you have the power to make it whatever you want. Don't settle for a life that's less than what you desire. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Decide that you're going to create something new, something beautiful, something meaningful. Decide that you're going to become the person you've always wanted to be. When you're ready to start a new life, remember that you have everything you need inside of you. You have the strength, the wisdom, the courage, and if you need a little help along the way, that's okay too. We all need a helping hand now and then. But the power to change, the power to start anew, is already within you. Take that first step today. Dream it. plan it, and then act on it. And if you keep taking those steps, if you keep moving forward, you'll look back one day and see just how far you've come. Your new life is waiting for you. All you have to do is begin.